Hi, fam. Okay. Hello. I am just winging it today and getting real crazy. Um, gonna see what happens. You never know. I kind of live by this philosophy. We'll call it. We'll call it that loosely. Of believing that this is all a collective dream. So all of you popping on right now, hello. So glad to see you. All of my all of the parts of my dream. Maybe that sounds super narcissistic, but I actually think that if everyone got on board with this idea, that we would be having a fantastic time here. So with that, I want to know, if any of you guys saw my post earlier, I kind of mentioned that I wanted to jump on here and maybe do some live chatting with some of you, not just through the questions here, which you are, welcome to add any queries and questions and issues you might be dealing with that I can riff on, because I'm always fond of all that. You can't get me to stop talking. But I would love if any of you are willing and feeling just like right now in your heart, like, ooh, I really do want to have a live conversation with Mercedes. Yes, it may be in front of some people, but keep in mind that this is the collective dream. So we don't have to take it so seriously. And I'll be here with you feeling all the same feels. Let's see who's on here. Okay, so by the way, guys, if you have a question, please, depending on what platform you're on. So I'm on several platforms right now, TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. And I'm going to face Instagram. So if that's annoying, if you're on the other platforms, then jump over here on Instagram. And I'm only going to take the live, I'm only going to let people join me live on Instagram. So if you want to do that, make sure you're on that platform. That in mind, of course, I'm willing to talk about literally pretty much anything, but let's obviously keep it respectful, keep it in target with, things that maybe other people can also find some value in, and that will help your life or predicament or whatever circumstance that you're looking to have addressed. And that means, what is it? Relationships. It can be, I work with people on all levels of confidence issue. Really anything that you want to bring to the table. I'm just feeling very open this evening and happy to talk to you guys. If you do have a question, please put it in the little question section with the question mark, because scrolling through these comments is pretty much an impossibility while I'm trying to also keep some sort of my wits about me. Again, I say that quite loosely. So for you guys to, and if you do want to join me live, you can do the live request or pop it in the question mark section as well on Instagram. Again, if you're just joining on the other platforms, I'm on Instagram taking live callers. I feel like I'm like a talk line. But anyone wants to do like a mini little session, just have a chat. Maybe we're just going to get to know each other better. Maybe it'll go nowhere. Maybe you'll, not listen to my rules and you'll be in a place that's way too loud. And then we'll have to end the call, but I'm here. I'm here to hang. Hi, Grant. Good to see your words in here. You say you need my help, but not in here. All right. Well, send me a message on what you need help with. Would love to. Let's see. Oh, I have a question here from Hong Nam Lee, and he says, is there any conflicts between personal and business relationships? Is there any conflicts between personal and business relationships? Please clarify for me if you mean that you're wondering if having a personal relationship with someone you're either in business with, like you're maybe in a partnership with, or you work with, what's the exact Yeah, what's the exact angle you're coming at with that? Love. Let me check these questions here. I'm not a burner asks, what happened to, like your name, by the way, what happened to your podcast? It was good. The Magic one. Yes, I've had a couple podcasts, and the Magic Hour, such a fantastic podcast. It still is, the library is still alive and well and accessible. And I still get so many, questions, comments about that. And also find so many things that are continually affecting my life to this day, that I got to access through doing that podcast. It's over as far as recording new episodes of it, but it will. Luckily, we were able to keep that library alive so that people can still access it because the information there is fantastic. Jade and I, who hosted that podcast, are doing our separate things and have that beautiful Magic Hour show and the library that remains to show for it. We made some really incredible art together there, and we really got to I think just like evolve ourselves as human beings so much by being on that show. I have no regrets there. One of the most wonderful things I've ever done. Okay, trying to scroll here. Again, I tell you, please put your questions inside of the question bubble if you will. That would help me so much. So, and if anyone is willing to jump on a live call with me, as long as you're in a fairly quiet, space so that we can actually hear you and understand you. We want to see your face. I want to know that you're going to be able to be present for whatever the conversation is between us. And I would be happy to have you on. Okay, I see someone here says I'm requesting to go live. So let me see if I can pull that back up. Sorry, these comments are shooting by. Where did you go? Where did you go? I know I saw it somewhere. This is a hard thing to navigate. Okay. Here we go. Is that working? We're going to give it a second. See if that happens. Did that work? I've hit accept. I don't know why it's not working. We will figure this out. All right. I see your request popping up, Gian. Okay, trying it again. Come on. Weird. All right, well, I'm going to try it one more time. I don't know why your request keeps popping in and out. So let's see. I'm going to try accepting it again. I see someone else has requested to do a live as well. So if this doesn't work, then we'll move on to the next. Okay, let's try this. My loves, I don't know why these lives are not, I'm saying accept, and then it just doesn't happen. Can anyone tell me how to troubleshoot Instagram live requests? Let's see. I see you guys popping in to join, so I love you so much for that. Hang tight, I'm trying to figure it out here. Hello, loves. Okay, here we go. Yay. Hi. Okay, wait, I can't hear you yet. Let's see if we get audio in a second. Okay, I hear you now. Yay. Hi, love.
What's up?
How are you?
How's it going, Brady? I'm doing fantastic. How about you?
I'm doing so well. So, and what was your name?
Travis.
Travis. Okay, Travis. Yeah. Yay! So glad you're the brave soul who's popped on with me this evening.
We're human beings, Mercedes.
Yeah.
That's what I see it.
I do too. I love that. We are. So I can kind of feel you right now. So just, I don't know what you're doing right now, but if you would just for a moment with me, just take a deep breath into the low belly and then a big exhale through the mouth, twice as long. Thank you. Yeah.
I appreciate that. Appreciate it.
So what's going on with you?
I'm sorry. I just like got on my first day of vacation and all that. I'm like, hey, you know what? I've got this going on. I'm trying to figure stuff out with where I am, but I'm like, hey, it's a great opportunity. I'm gonna at least see if I can get on there and see what we can get going and everything.
I love that.
I appreciate you getting. Oh, sorry. What was that?
I just said I love that. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you for your time. So, and thank you for taking my question. Basically, what I said was, I'm in like year 5 of being divorced, and I'm thankful for it. It's been a journey. It's been a journey. 5 years ago, I was a complete train wreck. It was something that needed to happen. I don't regret my decision. She and I are both doing a lot better now. My son's doing great. So during the month of July, he's with his mother, and I get an opportunity during this month to rediscover myself. One of the things I've been doing for the past 2 years is going on like a vacation, like I'm on right now, to just really be somewhere completely different where I don't know anyone. I'm completely just out of my element, all that sort of thing. And that's where I am right now. But just the rediscovery part is something that I want to talk to you more about. And really what happens when you were, I don't know if you know anything or a whole lot about divorce or anything, but like you started off and you dated someone and you were successful at it, you got married. Yay, wonderful. And then one thing or whatever went one way and another thing went another way, and now you're done and now you're restarting. And today, really just finding authenticity is something that it's ridiculous. Just getting from on Monday, we're going out to Thursday. Oh no, I forgot. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Sorry, no, let's not do that. Let's maybe do it another time, or who knows. It's craziness. So I just want to really hear some of your perspectives, and I'll be quiet.
So if I'm getting it right, you've gone through this kind of arc where you've gone through this, what you thought was the trajectory of, what modern Western culture says is, the way to do it, which is go get married, find the person, get married, have the child even, and do this American picket fence story, deal. And then it didn't turn out the way you expected. And you end up divorced. 5 years now it's been, and you are in the dating world again. I don't know if you're getting all the feedback I'm getting on here. Sorry if you are.
Yeah, I heard that here.
So you get to this place where you are now trying to navigate the dating world, and I can only imagine the most, like you're saying, inauthentic place ever, because everyone wants to be received, accepted. Of course, we're all terrified of any kind of rejection or asking for what we really need, or being, the blisteringly honest person and authentic person we probably should be showing up as, but we don't, because it's so scary to show things that we think we're not going to get accepted for. So then you're out here trying to navigate all that, and it is a shit show, to be frank. Do I have that right? Okay.
Bada bing. No, you nailed it. Nailed it.
Okay, cool.
Okay, cool.
And so your question is, how do you navigate
how
a
do you
world
navigate the world
that has got so
that
much
has got
of this mask wearing when you're trying to do the thing of being authentic, finding a person that's going to match with who you actually are and who you've gone through this self-discovery and you've really attempted to become fully who you are and stand in that bravely. You're showing up on a call in front of a bunch of people with me, which already indicates that you have this bravery online, that you are cool with who you are, at least to the degree that most humans aren't, because most humans wouldn't do this. So I certainly believe that you are there. You are like unfolding your own journey, your own authenticity, you're being real. And finding a match to that is frustrating. I would say that, like, even with me just saying that back, I wonder, I'm going to kind of pause here because I have some, ways we could go about attacking this, but I'd rather just hear from you. Like, even as I'm saying that, does something come up in knowing that your story is, first of all, very unfortunately common, but also it's totally understandable. It's completely something that the world at large in the dating world is trying to figure out how to, almost like we're trying to figure out how to verify each other, right? Before we all become either AI bots or just wearing masks that make us some form of non-human thing. So anyway, I'm getting too far off. What comes up for you, Travis, when I reflect back to you, here's where you're at.
What was your last question?
What comes up for you as I reflect this like kind of arc of where you've come from and how you've landed here, trying to figure out how to find authenticity?
No, you completely nailed everything. So, like you said, I look at where we are at this whole dating thing, and really, everybody's scared, Mercedes. Everybody's scared, and I get that. Just for me, you can laugh or not laugh, but whatever, my parents, my mother in particular, did a wonderful job of teaching me that dating is supposed to be something fun. In fact, that's the first thing that she taught me to find. If you can't have fun with someone you're out with, then you're done before you do anything else. But even just getting there and being able to authentically have fun with somebody and not automatically, okay, throw the marbles in and say, hey, we've got it. Just going gradually through the steps, as you said, is tremendously frustrating. I'm a single father. I have primary custody. When I run into this kind of fear, like you said, I understand it, but in some cases, I'm almost at the place. I'm a very affectionate person. I love people. I love the people I've been with. I've seen some amazing people, but with some of the people I've been trying to see lately, it's almost like I'm really in a place that I'm almost over it. I almost don't need it. I'm good just with the personal rediscovery. If I figure someone out and it'll be almost be accidental. I'm not even sure if that makes sense.
That totally makes sense. And I actually don't think it's a bad strategy to kind of have that feeling of, I'm going to let go this mission to find the one or to find the match, because I'm sure you've heard, this kind of cliche idea of when we finally let go of this big search, or we let go of that striving, suddenly that thing populates in our life, because we no longer are in that scarcity, like trying to get a thing, right? We're trying to get a thing, so we're not energetically a match for the thing yet. But like I said earlier, just even in speaking to you now, you have such an authentic aura about you that you're already attracting the right stuff into your life. It's just a matter of the patience now, like the allowing for it to meet you. And I think because what you're looking for is what you're already uncovering yourself, you're so far ahead of most on this particular trajectory. You've already done a lot of the work. You're already in it. You have the momentum behind you of like, I'm going to keep doing my shit. I'm going to keep uncovering who I am and who I want to show up as. And of course, like attracts like, you're going to attract someone who is going to match that. So when you go out and you meet these people who are not a match to you, and how do you know that? Because they are wearing the mask and they're not being authentic, or they're not showing up in an integral way. And that falls out, and that falls out of your life, and then that one falls out of your life, and going, what the fuck? Like, why is this such a struggle? I might suggest here, like, just invite you here, Travis, to think, thank God that one fell out of my life. Oh, that's beautiful. I am able now, because I'm in my own wholeness, I'm really opening up my authentic self to shed and discern from things that are no longer a match to me. Whereas before, you were in the work, you were figuring out yourself and becoming your authentic self. I don't like to use all the cliche terms, but they just are going to happen. But before you were in the work, you probably were in more of I don't know what it was for you, potentially like a more codependent mode, or, somewhere where you were attaching and clinging and finding unhealthy attachments with people, even if they were not a good match for you, because you didn't have that discernment online and you weren't in your own wholeness in the way you are today. So I like to think of it almost as like a test, from the universe, where these people come into your life and they're not a match. And you're like, instead of being like, hey, like, why didn't that work out? It's like, that didn't work out because it was not a match, and I'm just finally able to see it.
Yeah, I'm laughing because no, that's exactly what it is. It's this weird thing. We like, right? It's, even when it's bad, I don't know what that is. We like what we like, and it's hard to stop paying that attention.
Yeah. When so you're saying you have specific things in people you end up dating or whatever that you see and you like, and you want to have some sort of longevity there, and then when it doesn't work out, you're feeling like, I still have a desire there? Or explain more to me what you mean on that last note.
So it's like you said, you wind up looking for you. I'm getting a lot more of an idea of what I like and what I don't.
Yes.
Yes. And like you said, it is almost like a cosmic test about, all right, here's what you're looking, or some of what you're looking for. I'm still haven't completely figured it out, but
sure,
here you've at least got some of what you're looking for, what you want right now. Here it is.
Yeah.
And you're starting it somewhere that then something, let's say that person says, I'm really having a great time with you. You're fantastic. I love seeing you. I found out that I'm married to my job. She's like, I found out I'm married to my job, or something like that. So let's see different people, but let's see one another. And it's like, okay, that's cool. Maybe this progresses. And then somebody else comes up that, okay, no, this person is completely wrong, but that whole thing about not being married to work, they completely want to, like, hey, I'm going out and having a great time, but they're inauthentic like the first person. Or they don't bring the other things the first person brings. And that this new person, no, this person's not it. But in navigating what this thing is now, you don't have any one particular person, and trying to get to that place where both people have a partnership with that.
Yeah.
It's this whole frustrating confusion thing that, I mean, at least you sort of have someone.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if I'm making sense.
You are, actually, because you're making sense on a whole other level than intellectual, and that's what I want to. I don't know. Let me turn these down and see if that changes anything. Why we're getting feedback here. but hopefully we can move through that anyway. So I think the big thing to focus on here, and it's maybe what I focus on most in my work, is bringing us from this intellectual thing up here that's always trying to figure it out and always trying to logically, rationally understand something like love that is not a rational thing at all, right? It is completely this irrational, completely emotional thing that we cannot think it into being, right? And we cannot sort it out for sure. If anyone's been in love before, it's not a rational thing at all. So the important thing here is to notice, like, even in the conversation right now, it got cloudy because you're trying to understand something, whether it's understand the person that you're attempting to connect with on a date or build a relationship with. You're trying to understand the connection and this love between two people, you and someone else, through this mechanism, which is beautiful and brings us so many gifts. But this mind of ours can also trip us up because we lean on it too hard, where the invitation becomes actually to settle down into the body and sense, like literally through our senses, the physical senses, what we actually want. And that's where real discernment happens. So we can think ourselves into all kinds of storylines and like why this person's good for us or bad for us, and we should know better, and we should know better, blah blah blah. That's all mind stuff. And coming from someone who has literally been trapped in my mind for so many years and worked so hard to try to like figure out everything and fix everything on a mental logical level, I can tell you that the way to create ease in any place of our life, and especially when it comes to relationship, romance, love, all that juicy, lovely stuff that I believe life is at the core really all about, relationships, really connecting with others. We have to move into a more body sense. And so just right now, Travis, if you'll do it with me, I'm just going to ask you, this will take 2 minutes or less, but maybe anyone watching with us can do it along with us, just to feel the sense of what it is like to go from here down into here, just for a moment. Will you do that with me?
I will do that with you. I will tell you, I'm a math guy. I'm a mathematics engineering professor. So what you just said, I rely on this thing a lot. But I got you. I'm with you. I'll do it.
Perfect. Yes. And we know maybe one of those most famous sayings actually comes. I know some people in the SEAL teams, and this statement comes from them. It's paralysis by analysis. So what happens is, even though we have these beautiful rational minds that help us get, logic through everything, we will get frozen in here because it's not the whole picture. There's a whole body with all these other senses that we need to be using in order to get the well-rounded whole, like holistic picture, so that we can actually move forward with a sense of certainty and confidence. Certainty and confidence doesn't come from here. It comes from this along with the other stuff, because that's how we know when something is real or true or good for us or whatever. We have to actually feel it in the body and know it logistically, how it all clicks in and makes sense. It's like we're a big puzzle and we have to make sure all the pieces get aligned. So with that, all I'm going to ask you to do is like take a couple deep breaths. This is not going to be we don't have to be nervous about this practice. It's nothing anyone can't do. So just if you'll settle in and if it feels comfortable, just close your eyes for just a moment with me. And we're just going to do, again, breathe in through the nose, down into the low belly. I'm going to do it along with you. And then we're going to exhale twice as long through the mouth. And you can make it an audible exhale if you feel comfortable. And just do that again. Just again. And as you're doing this, just notice how even in this moment, and of course we're doing this in such a public way, thank you for being brave with me here, but your nervous system, you can probably notice when you just slow down and stop talking and we're just breathing, that there's all kinds of stuff firing in there. You might just notice where that's happening in the body. Not making it wrong. It's totally human. It's totally doing exactly what it's supposed to do. The reason we're breathing like this, in through the nose, down into the low belly, and like allowing the belly to expand before the upper lung, and then exhaling through the mouth twice as long, it's actually just signaling to the body that it's safe, and signaling to the nervous system that we're safe here. We're not, we're not running from the lion. We're not under attack. Because when we don't let it know it's safe, then we stay in the mind. We don't relax into the body. And so just here, one other thing I'll ask you to do before we move out of this would just be to lower your chin. It doesn't have to touch your chest, but just kind of drop it towards your chest. And this is also just a signal to the body that you're dropping into it instead of, staying in the mind. And just another deep breath like we've done. Beautiful. And if you just keep your eyes closed here and stay in this place with me, Travis, just tell me anything you notice in this space that was different than just a few breaths ago before we started.
When I started, everything that was, when I took the first breath, everything, when I inhaled, I almost had fireworks going off in my brain up here.
Yes.
And now it's dissipated, and it's not completely gone away, but it's slowly but surely there. The fireworks that were firing off all over the place, there's one or two pops, and now I can feel my heart beating.
Yeah.
And I can feel a lot more of what's around me flowing in and out of me. It's not all boxed in here.
That's beautiful.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So just notice here, Travis, as we're, kind of re-entering our little bubble here on Instagram. Obviously we're doing such a tiny little bit of a just moving into the body practice, but just noticing how we adjust it through a simple thing like even breathing in this case, and how it changes even just your and my relationship right now. Like, I really want you to take note of what's shifted between you and I. Just it can be on a very small scale, because this is a small scale practice we're doing. But even just in the connection where we resonated, we were literally breathing the same, slowing down together, asking our nervous systems to kind of lend themselves to each other in a way and slow down together and take this moment to be so present with each other. That is the type of authenticity I think you're looking for in another human being when you're going out into the world. It's resonance, and you can get it. This was a small taste of that, but you can get it or know if it's available or not with someone by slowing down and being super present. And presence only happens in the body, because that's the only place, the only thing that can ground us to now. The head only thinks, the mind, I should say, only projects to the future of what's gonna happen potentially, or takes from the past of what has happened, and it dances between those two things. But the body, where we can actually sense what's happening right now, right here and right now, is what allows us to be completely present and connect, because that's where connection happens, is in the present moment. So with all that, I wonder if that gives you a layer or an invitation towards, as you go into these scenarios with people in your life, as you date and as you experiment and experience people, even outside of dating, just the people that come through your life, if that maybe offers a layer of how to quickly, first of all, get yourself down into a present place where you can even be the invitation for that authentic connection, and you can lend your nervous system to someone who doesn't have that practiced in their body and isn't necessarily like, they didn't know how to do that, but you get to kind of guide them by just being it. Does that make sense? Like, I can bring someone into present moment by just bringing myself into that and reminding myself, well, where's my nervous system right now? You know, is it jumping up to the head, predicting the future, coming from the past, thinking, well, what's going to happen next? Or is it actually landed here and now? And if I can offer that to someone else, some really magical shit happens.
You're absolutely right. I thought about something, a lot of it went from what I thought to what I felt.
Yeah.
And though that started with frustration, that frustration, I felt safe.
Yes.
I felt safe. I felt not just me, but I felt safe, and I felt no fear with you, like you said, just present with you in that time. And it was I can't explain it. And like you said, maybe that's the half the idea, or at least the idea. Some things can't be explained. Some things merely are felt. Yeah. And if I can find, or when I find someone who actually is willing to just feel and be present with me in that time, I think we can actually get somewhere.
And I might even further nudge you that when you're more willing to be present with you or with others, like in the body, you will attract what you are. So
I can do that. I'm a praying man. I really appreciate this. I don't want to take all your time. Thank you so much for this.
Thank you, Travis. Thanks for popping on.
Thanks for having me. I truly am honored. Talk to you soon, Mercedes.
Okay. Let's see if I can accept another one here. Here we go. I am attempting to accept this live. Let's see. We're not sure yet why this live accepting button does or doesn't work sometimes. Let's see here. I see you guys popping on the lives. I am attempting to get to you, so just hang with me. We're just gonna let Instagram figure it out. Here we go, Hunter. I think we're getting you on here. Yay.
What's going on?
Hi, how are you doing, love?
I'm good. I got a question for you.
Yes.
What is your view on marriage, and will you ever get married?
Your name's Hunter, right? I got that right?
Yes.
Okay, perfect, Hunter. Thank you for the question. Thanks for popping on. Will I ever get married? What is my view on marriage? I am married and have been married actually for 7 years with someone I've been with for a decade in total. And so this is a confusing way to answer this, so bear with me. I am not technically legally married, but I did have a ceremony in front of all my friends and family and said, vows and this type of thing. I'm not particularly a religious person in the aspect of I don't go to a specific church and this type of thing.
Right.
But I grew up in a very Catholic family on my one side, my mom's side. Not my mom particularly, but my grandparents. And then on my dad's side, he was atheist. He was very science-minded dude. And so I grew up with this kind of juxtaposition of, sent me into an existential crisis at about 11 years old.
Right.
Put it that way. And so through all of that, and of course, the desire to have relationship coming from I guess I can call it a broken family, a split family. My parents divorced when I was 5. I was perplexed as to how things are all supposed to play out. But what I knew was, growing up, the most stable place that I could find was my grandparents' house. The religious, strict Catholic grandparents, where all my sexual shame came from, and all these layers of things that I've had to sort through in other places of my life. But there was this stability of the structure that particular religion offered, and their relationship being intact offered for me. There was something about having that, male and female that had a really good idea of their direction in life and what they were here to do. And they were serving the Lord in this case, but they had a structure. Whereas so many other caregivers and people in my life did not have that structure, or they were still searching or whatever. So when it came for me deciding on marriage, it was really just a matter of deciding on commitment. And I think that's like this, it's like the scariest word that people don't realize they're so allergic to a lot of the time. So what comes up for you as I'm talking about this, Hunter?
A bunch of things, but if I was to go on, we'd be on here for 6 hours. But we'll make it short. I got one more question for you.
Sure.
There'd be the never-ending conversation. But thanks for the answer.
Sure.
Right now, favorite song of all time, or maybe one you listen to.
Ooh, favorite song of all time?
All time.
Okay, favorite song of all time is gonna be from The Wizard of Oz. It's the one in the beginning of the movie where she's singing about the rainbow. Somewhere over the rainbow.
Come on now. That's it. That's your favorite song right there?
I mean, it's like the myth that made me, it's like something that kind of kicked off my life. Say it again.
Let me ask you this. If you go to the gym right now and you're working out, today, what song you putting on?
Oh my God. If you knew me better, you would know that I listen to I'm like the most obnoxious nerd in the world. And I listen to audiobooks and podcasts pretty much 24/7. So when I'm listening to music, who I really love is Lizzie Jeff. Have you ever heard of her? She is fantastic. If you want to look her up, she has a song called Goddess Code that's super fun. Love to listen to that. So yeah, I would say that music is something I love, and it inspires me in so many ways, and I'll put on music to dance to and that type of thing. But if you ask me favorite books, that's a way easier answer for me.
Right.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
How do you feel about marriage, Hunter?
Well, I guess if you were to ask my point of view would stem and come from what I have seen, what I've observed, and what I think I know. So, I'm red pill, so I'm not looking forward to anything like that. You know what I mean? So, just kind of focus on myself. I feel like tagging somebody else along, will help me back. So, and that's what I've seen. So,
when you say red pill, what do you mean?
Red pill. How do you want this? Like a short answer?
I mean, I know it's from the Matrix, but I'm saying, what does it mean for you? How do you express that in your life?
How would I express red pill in my life? Well, red pill would be observing female nature, learning from experiences, learning from being the Vita. So, when my grandparents were married and, my mother was married, I live on a farm. I'm in the sticks of Kentucky. So, the granddad would be out in the fields, plowing the fields and working, taking care of the cows. And, the wife would be inside dressed up, dolled up, whereas now, my mom's around the house lounging with pajamas and stuff, So I don't know what I'm talking about right now. I'm stoned as hell. I hopped off the game and took my light off. It's nighttime. I'm smoking a little bit. So I'm about to get off here, though. I got to go. I got a couple things I got to do. But, hey, I appreciate you having me on. You look great. So
thank you. Thanks, Hunter. Thanks for the combo.
Have a good night.
You too. Okay, let's see if I can get the next one in here. I know I'm trying, Gian. I've seen you in here for a while. I appreciate your patience and your perseverance. And we don't know why Instagram just doesn't want to let this happen. Oh my goodness, goodness, goodness. I love talking to you guys, though. This is really such a fun thing to explore. I don't know why this won't work for me. Let's see here. You know, I feel like it's just the fate of the universe at this point. Like, if you get in the live request box, oh, no, it says, Gian, you're unable to join. I don't know what happened. I thought it was going to happen for us. Okay, let's see. Why? Anyone else want to jump on a live? I am trying to accept anyone who jumps in here and see if the Instagram gods will allow it. Okay. What is the deal, Instagram? Allow us to play, please. I don't know why this can't go, but let me see. Let me look in the questions for now and see if this will allow Instagram to do whatever it needs to do here. Because I've got a lot of questions piling up here. Okay. Okay, I have Chad over here on Facebook, and he is asking, I'm going to skip kind of around with the platforms as far as questions go the best I can. Chad, you say, you did the same thing. It only lasted 364 days. Okay, you said you're on your second marriage, and we were a match made in heaven, complete soulmates. We've been married for 20 years now. I wonder what soulmates means to you. That's always a a controversial term. So let me just riff on that for a moment. I do have this concept that we are all soulmates in waiting, and when I say that, people go, "What?" What I mean is, we are all completely compatible if our domestications that we have come down and experienced during our time in these human vessels, if our domestications link up in a way that makes us the right frequency at the right time. And I know I'm getting just so much more confusing as this definition goes. But essentially, if you could pick up this transmission beyond my words, I would love that. Someone please let me know if they are as I go through this. But essentially, we all have an ability to connect on a radically deep level. And even maybe you can like sense that with the conversation Travis and I were having earlier, and where when we slow down and we get grounded, we can have just absolutely radical connections with other human beings, whether romantic relationship, family relationship, friendships, whatever it is. When two people are willing to get to that place of connection and resonance and sync up like that, we become soulmates essentially. That is so rare to be able to happen because most humans on the planet are just trying to not get abandoned. Truly, it's like most of us are just terrified of being abandoned, and maybe, you know, the ultimate abandonment of our mortality, like literally death, like where we kind of abandon our bodies here. But without going too far into that esoteric rabbit wormhole. If you can open to the fact that it's not like there is just one person out there that's, gonna be your match, soulmate, and that your soul is a match or a mate to anyone willing to resonate on that level with you and break past all the masks and the taboos that we've put around being, I don't know, woo woo or being spiritual for that matter, and is willing to actually connect with you in an intimate way. And when I say intimate, I mean intimacy as in like into me see. In other words, we are looking into each other as a mirror to experience what we really are. And by looking into someone else and seeing all the things that make up who they are and accepting those things, befriending those parts, even when they might be parts where we're afraid to claim in ourselves, when we can actually do that with and for another human being, we make a soulmate. And that can be of the same gender, that can be of radically different age groups, because it's not always about sex having to be a part of this, but soulmates come in every shape, size, and form. And it's just a matter of being able to get to a place with that other person, create the conditions with, with a container with that other person, and still yourself in your own nervous system so that you can receive them fully and accept them fully in that deeply connecting and intimate way where you go, holy fuck, I just made another soulmate. And I got to tell you, since making that literally my living, I can say that it is the most impactful, most important thing we do while we're on this planet. Perhaps only, and maybe just parallel to and next to, right alongside with our own journey of self-mastery, our own hero's journey of understanding ourselves as knowing that there's a part of us that calls us to show up for what we fully can be and following the track to get there. That's kind of our journey, right? Understanding that there's this thing inside of us that's calling us to basically transform ourselves into it. And that is the most important thing we will do in our life. And the way that we get there, the way that we take that hero's journey, is by being in relationship to others, connecting deep enough and openly enough and vulnerably enough that we get the actual clear reflection of the mirror that another person can be when you're in an intimate relationship with them, so that we can see our shit clearly enough to evolve into that thing, that being that we are actually here to claim. Okay, wow, I'm going down an esoteric rabbit hole and I'm probably making absolutely no sense to many, but hopefully the transmission is coming through. And I still am trying to figure out how to play with y'all on this Instagram that just doesn't want me to go live for some reason. I'm pushing accept on all of you here one at a time and nothing seems to be happening. But sometimes it seems to work, so we're just going to keep trying it until it populates a picture of someone for me to gaze into. Okay, let me see. Accept. I'm accepting all of your lives, and I don't know why it won't let me. Please work. Oh, yay. Somebody's on. Yay, hi. What's your name, love?
What's up?
What's your name?
My name's Brandon.
Brandon, thank you for joining me, and I'm glad that the Instagram verse let you on, because I'm really struggling over here getting these to connect.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I didn't know if it was going to work. It's cool.
What's going on with you?
Not a lot. I just got out of, I guess, like a 10-year relationship, and my partner was, I guess, I had really didn't know much about this at the time, but I guess like she was kind of like a controlling narcissist, and it was kind of a tough situation because there was a 9-year-old involved, my daughter. She's back in Michigan. She moved back there, so she's there with my daughter in Michigan. I'm here in North Carolina. So it's a whole new life because I've been with this woman for 10 years. And so part of it is I'm definitely not in a hurry to get into another relationship. Like I'm just trying to kind of get back on my feet and kind of get my ducks in a row and stuff. But I guess, I don't know if it's so much a relationship question, but just how to like be out here on my own again, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it totally makes sense.
It's like a whole new life. It's so weird. Like I'm very close with my 2 sisters, and I moved in with my sister here because there's rooms, and so it's like, yeah, I hang out with them and stuff, but it's just like, and I'm definitely okay with myself. Like I do music, I have a job, blah blah blah, I work out, but like a lot of it's just like, okay, they go away, and then I like sit there with myself.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's just it's kind of crazy. So, and kind of tough because obviously you think about things. So there's a lot of things that I'm still like processing, but like, it's just like, wow, after that long, now by myself again.
For sure. And let's just respect that for a moment. 10 years is a long ass time. You become an entirely new human cellularly. You turn over like every 6 to 7 years. So just in that, you've had a whole evolution of Brandon since then. And you're landed here right now, and I want you to fully land. And so can we just be with that for just a moment? And I know it's I hate being in my body sometimes because it really is scary because it holds a bunch of the emotions that, we don't want to look at a lot of the time. I get it. So let's just land here for a moment. We don't have to go do any crazy body work or anything right now, but just for our sake and our conversation, and so that we can have a really connected exchange, I want us to just get present here. And so as you came on, it felt really important to just take this moment. So I want you to literally just like, I don't know, are you holding a phone in your hand right now? Is there a way you can like just kind of set it on something in front of you that won't fight you, that'll not slide down?
Sure.
Just prop it on something for just a second, and it's not forever. Okay, and I'm gonna do this with you, but basically we're just gonna move some of this stuff, like literally however it feels like coming through. Like I'm just gonna shake my body because that's what feels good right now. I know we're being so weird together, but I'm doing it with you, Brandon. So literally just, this is letting whatever wants to move through us right now, move through. We're not gonna go into any big work, but just for literally, 15 seconds, let's do it. Okay, so like whatever that means. I don't care what you do. Dance, jiggle, like literally whatever. Make sure you're breathing. Make sure we're breathing. I know 15 seconds feels a long time when we're just in a public weird situation like this. Let's do it anyway. Woo! Move it a little bit through your voice. I just want to hear your voice a little bit like, ah! I know it's weird. You're getting weird with me. I love it. You might feel some heat in the body. Fantastic. Okay. We can warm down here and slow down a little bit. So you can pick up your phone again or whatever you need to do there. But just noticing right now as we're like jostling this pent energy, that we start storing in our body, even just by getting on a Instagram live and being, oh, we're going to get analyzed or whatever we think, the outside world is doing. Just feeling like, whoa, there's a lot of shit that's stored up in here. And it is really hard to hold all that. It literally creates uneasiness in the body. We can call that dis-ease, eventually actually disease in the body. I truly, deeply believe that we create any of our physical symptoms of suffering, disease or disease in the body by holding on to emotional stuff that hasn't been released. And an important thing I'm going to shut up here in just a moment. But an important thing to note is that emotion is energy in motion. So I like to break it up like emotion. So energy in motion. And if we are blocking it by not literally like moving it, maybe through the workouts you're doing, that probably helps a ton. But you notice that it expresses something. Like by the word expression, I mean it literally moves something through you and out of your body that needs to be felt, sensed, moved through, and then let go of somehow. So when we're talking about something like a 10-year relationship that was with, you know, this person who you felt was very narcissistic, and so therefore I would assume there's a lot of like yucky stuff that happened in there that did not feel good in your body, that did not feel good to you as a human being, where you didn't get needs met in the way that you needed them, and where you were probably transgressed and trespassed in a lot of ways, emotionally, maybe physically, right, spiritually, that our bodies, especially when we're, because I've been with a full-blown narcissist, like he wasn't diagnosed, but if I was a person who could diagnose him, then he definitely had narcissistic personality disorder all the way on the end of the spectrum. And so I had been this person that attracts that person to my life, right? And therefore I have been a person who stores that shit in my body too. And sometimes I still fall into those patterns, and I got to remind myself, I got to, you know, shake it out, or I got to go on a run. I got to do something. I got to breathe and do work and see my therapist or whatever. I bring this all to the table because if there's stuff stored in there that doesn't belong to you because it's something someone else projected onto you, that's what narcissists do. They put their shit that they're not willing to go in and feel in their bodies, and they project it on to the people closest to them. Then that means you're carrying a bunch of shit, not only your own stuff, which we can work through our own shit, but the stuff that isn't yours, that you're holding on to for her, that's what I'm sensing that I want to make sure we're addressing.
For sure.
What comes up?
Kind of eye-opening because, you know, like I immediately like just jump into like all these things. Like I just got to like improve this and that. I got to get like a self-help book. I have to like jump to the next job. I have to meet some type of like next tier success, because what I'm doing right now, I have to get these songs signed and whatever. Like I just have to keep pushing and just like holding in a lot and waking up with like high functioning anxiety. Like I'm just not doing enough. Like holy shit, I'm this single guy in my sister's house. Like you know, like holding on to so much, like you said, and just always like meant to believe that, or led to believe that like I'm just, what I'm doing right now is not okay. Like, and just right now I just like try and please myself, I guess. So I don't know.
Let me tell you, from being on the other end of that, like where, you know, like, hello, I'm a recovering people pleaser. You know, I am a recovering people pleaser. I'm a recovering echoist. I don't know if you've heard that term, but we can get into that in a moment.
Yeah.
Echoist and narcissist, and you maybe know the spectrum. The idea that you're not doing enough, I can feel it, you know. I'm intuiting this sense that, okay, a lot of the work that I do with people, like in my one-on-one coaching, where we're getting into like a real, you know, deep session, is a intuitive connection. I have, because I am a person similar to you, where I'm like, okay, I got to do all the things. I have to do all the self-help books. I have to figure it out myself. I'm going to fix this. I'm going to fix myself. I'm going to fix everyone else. I'm going to make sure I'm the, you know, the pin that holds it all together or whatever. I'm not going to be a burden on anyone. And I'm this high-strung, very on the anxious side, guilt-prone personality as my default mode. And I will literally run myself completely dry. I will burn the candle at both ends, and I will hurt myself. Therefore, I won't be able to help anybody else, which is obviously a big issue, because that's where I get my value, is helping others if I'm people pleasing. So all these things run into big issues. Now, none of those things I just listed, people pleasing, being an echoist, you know, identifying as someone who believes she's a burden a lot of the time, or, you know, needs to fix things up. None of those things are innately bad things. Actually, they come with amazing gifts and they help us survive. They are here to protect us in so many ways. They're wonderful things to know about yourself and to fucking love about yourself, because they are, first of all, like, you're the type of person you want to hire at a, you know, place of work where people need a show up person, someone who's willing to help others. You're the type of person who people want around for these things. So that does a lot of great things for you. And you're experiencing where you start hearing this inner critic that gets so loud and says, oh, you got to figure this out, hurry up, you know, and has this almost like impatient voice of shame, blame, and demeaning, you know, the inner critic. It's critical. So I would love right now, I know I'm saying a lot of things, but just right now, you know what happens? I get anxious and I try to start stuffing all these things in when I should just stay more calm and focused and be like, whatever comes through is great. So maybe that's the gift that I'm also trying to share with you, is like, whatever you're doing right now is great. You're fucking recovering from a 10-year relationship with a narcissist. And even if it wasn't a narcissist, just coming out of a 10-year anything, or making a life transition that's as major as the one you're making, is going to require like just slowness and allowing for this to be unfolding as it is, and the patience that, you know, you can gift yourself in this moment of transition. Because man, you've been through a lot. You've been through a lot, you know?
And just like, yeah, this happened, and you're like, but yeah, no, thank you for talking to me. Like, it is truly helpful, and I just really do need to just chill out and just kind of let some things happen. And my cats are fighting in the background. But
I love kitties. You know, I'm a crazy cat lady. The other thing I want to say here before we end this, which I'm in not a rush to do, but I don't want to, you know, bleed into anything that feels uncomfortable here for you. So the thing that you brought up in the beginning about feeling like you're sometimes sitting there going like, damn, like I had this life that looked a certain way, and maybe I pictured a certain trajectory it was going to go on, and I had a vision for it, and it didn't end up that way. And after 10 years of trying for that, it didn't, which is a long time to put into a dream, to not see it go where you want it. And then sometimes sitting with yourself and being like, there's a lot in here that I've got to contend with. A lot of it isn't yours. A lot of it's the voice of the inner critic, which is never actually our voice. It's an accumulation of a bunch of other people, usually our young caregivers' voices. And the stuff that you've picked up from your ex, especially, and who knows who else along the way, that isn't yours either. And you're sitting there by yourself, and in this aloneness, we can feel this. I mean, I've been here, man, and I still go here sometimes. It's like this almost existential yearning that comes with deep, deep grief. And grief, like, underline that word in your mind right now, because grief is something that, of course, would come through a dream not living. Like something died. You know what I mean? Like the dream of whatever that relationship could have been, or whatever your life might have looked like, whoever you might have been in that. And even though you know that this person that you are transitioning toward right now, Brandon, and who you already are, but you're just like peeling off the onion layers and realizing who he is there, you have to grieve the parts of you that you are saying, hey, you're no longer serving me. You know, being the people pleaser and letting a narcissist step on me in places that I don't want to be tread on is no longer serving me. You have to let that, Brandon, you know, that part of you, that egoic story essentially, die. And it is the fucking hardest thing we will do in this world, is let an ego story die. Don't let anyone tell you different, because that is the hardest thing we will do. Inner work, like quote unquote inner work, is basically letting those parts of us die and then greeting the things that we thought were enemies of ours inside of us or projected onto people outside of us become our friends, so that we can actually see that they were there trying to protect us all along, and they're the thing we've been needing to embody. I'm going down a rabbit hole that's going to get too deep for this conversation, but grief is super important to claim that is part of this cycle, and that it's something that has to be moved through, and that you will move through it. Like I'm looking at you right now in the eyes. Maybe I have to look in my camera to do it, but I'm looking where I can see your eyes on my screen. And I'm telling you right now that when you sit in aloneness and you feel those feelings come up, that's grief. You don't have to sit in it forever. You don't have to do what we do, which is almost abusively say, I have to work through this. I have to deal with all my grief. I have to get it done at some rapid pace. But set containers for yourself that are kind to yourself, right? So, okay, every other day, I'm going to set whatever, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever it is, feels good for you. You intuitively feel into that. And I'm going to sit alone and literally allow this shit to come up. And if it does or doesn't, it doesn't matter, but you're going to show up to do that. You're going to let the grief come up. It's going to feel like fucking death, Brandon. It's going to feel like the thing that you do not want to be in more than anything else you've never wanted to be in your life. And you're going to know this, that there is research now that is showing that any intense emotions, which is grief shows us a lot of them, any intense emotions that we have to relive when we're doing our deep work, when we're doing trauma work, we're doing inner work, we're moving through grief from a 10-year relationship, all this stuff. Anything that comes up, the intensity of it lasts about 90 seconds, okay? Mastin Kipp is great at speaking about this if you want to research his work. But what Mastin actually says, I can kind of repeat some of it haphazardly, is that if we can just be there with it for 90 seconds and know that that's how much time we need to spend with this potentially intense emotion, then we make a complete cycle with it, and we allow it to finally like move through us. If we don't go through that all the way and we see an intense emotion and go, oh shit, this is too much for me, close it down and we escape out of it, whatever. We get high, we go online shopping, I don't know, whatever we do, right, to get out of it. We can spend 20, 30, 40 years with a trauma lingering in our subconscious and in our body, creating disease and all that. So I don't want that for you. What I would love for you is to have you make a container for yourself where it's not abusive. So it's not like, I'm going to sit here and feel the grief and feel literally like just death, feel like I'm dying for all this time and it's going to be so much. No, just set a container that's reasonable for you, and you can adjust it and be fluid with it. Show up for that, and it will move. If you do that, it will move, and you will evolve into exactly where you're trying to go, and where I know you can already see is waiting for you, but we don't get these tools. Like, where are these tools handed to us? Nowhere. So what's coming up for you as I'm saying this?
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think for me, I'm just immediately jumped into this improve me mode and just hustling, whatever, just trying to push ahead. And these moments sneak up on me oh shit, my daughter's across the country, I'm here, I just moved out of the situation, and I'm just those moments this kind of just jump up and punch me throughout the day. And so it's I'm not really, like you're saying, slowing down, taking a minute and dealing with it, and just sitting with it and kind of reflecting. And I think you're right. I think that could be really helpful. Honestly.
Just making a container so that it knows it has a place to come up, because otherwise it will come up and sometimes it's just going to anyway come up in volatile ways. But the last thing we want to do is be stuffing it down, and then it pops up at the most inopportune time when we have a couple of drinks with our friends or something, and now we're like an angry drunk, or we're bursting out in tears in a setting that feels not right or apt for that.
Bedtime or something.
Yeah. So, and not that, hopefully you're around people who can totally traverse that with you when things like that happen, but just making a container so that, it's kind of a weird kind of magical thing that happens whenever we show up for ourselves finally, especially as people pleasers. That's like the hardest thing we do because we're like last on our list of priorities. We're like, show up for everyone else so I don't get abandoned. And then maybe I'll show up for myself if I have time. And of course, we never get there because everyone else will soak up all of our resources, right? And then we'll be bitter and resentful the fact that they never show up for us the way we show up for them, and on it goes. So we have to correct that by making a commitment to ourselves and being kind when we fall into our old default mode where we don't show up for ourselves, and then refocusing. It's kind of like the meditation of your own self-love, I suppose, and finding Brandon containment time, not like where you can only have it there, but where you are letting your subconscious know, I'm going to report to letting you have out what's been needed to be expressed for at least 10 years and probably even more. Okay, so that's enough of that. I think we understand what we're talking about here. And I think that's, it's heavy stuff and it's important stuff. So I'm so glad you're bringing it to the table. But here, Brandon, I want you to just feel your neck. I know this is weird again. Sorry. I'm going to be weird again. Just with me, just feel your neck. I don't think before I talk sometimes. I just feel something and then I have to tell you. So I just want you to hold your neck here. And just like really for just a moment, maybe you can close your eyes and just kind of breathe in and just notice what's happening here in your neck. And just loosen it a little bit. Maybe the back of your neck, you kind of allow it to take any rigidity out. Just breathe into the tension there. And remember, we're opening up our low belly. It's really hard to do that because it takes focus. But what we're going to do is we're breathe into the belly. You might have seen me talking to Travis earlier about this. And exhale through the mouth twice as long. And I just want you to kind of massage your neck a little bit here, just kind of moving things around, just noticing your neck, your tension, any tension here in the neck and up here in the jaw, right here behind the ears. It's kind of tender there, so don't push too hard. And just relaxing your tongue. This is a tip if you've seen a lot of my stuff. I talk about relaxing the tongue, relax the tongue. Just notice how that kind of relaxes that whole jaw area. We're just breathing, remembering to breathe all the way into the low belly. Exhale through the mouth twice as long. When we're relaxing the tongue, we're just noticing that it actually relaxes us all the way through the center channel of the body, down into the genitals. This is important because that's all that nervous system runs right alongside that center channel of the body. And we're breathing. We can just adjust our jaw a little more. And even as we're just noticing this neck tension, now maybe it's moving into the chest a little bit and just relaxing that chest area. I like to massage this it's called the fascia, but this tissue that holds all these muscles in place inside of under our skin there, and just kind of massaging some of it. I know we're doing all the weird things today, but hey, we're just being human and we're doing the full spectrum human thing, which is what we're here to do. Okay, and as we're doing that, we're just noticing how much tension was here, how much we're holding all the damn time, and how much burden we carry that's not even ours. We're breathing. You don't have to talk right now. You know what? Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you, honestly. All right.
Yeah. Oh, beautiful stuff, guys. I appreciate you all showing up with just such beauty. Such beauty. I appreciate you all for being here with me all the way. All the way. That's what we're here to do. Okay, what do you think? One more call or... I think that's going to be it, you guys. First of all, Instagram doesn't want to let me take these lives for some reason. I've attempted so many times, so I'm going to just call out you guys for being on here. Quotes_lab1. I'm not a burner. I was going to say that totally wrong. I'm not a burner. Thank you so much for showing up here. And Gianfranco, I know you've been on here trying to get on the live since the very beginning. So thank you so much for your attention and thank you for attempting it. I will do another one of these sometime very soon. I'm going to try and do it maybe like weekly. Yeah, weekly. And maybe we'll keep doing these mini sessions and just see how it goes. I don't know. I just go with whatever feels right in the moment, to be honest with you. Gosh, y'all are just absolute gems. And thank you all for showing up today. Hunter, Travis, and Brandon, for bringing your vulnerability, your bravery, your hearts, and your full bodies to this. Because it is not easy, and you just did it in front of, I don't know, however many people are on this across all my platforms. I've got several screens in front of me. So at least, 5 million people. So no big deal, guys. If you can do what you just did in front of 5 million people, you are so far advanced. Beyond, right, for what most people are willing to show up for. And that is about dropping into the body, taking us from this beautiful mind, no shame on the mind, or no shame on the one option ego, I like to call it, our ego stories and the things that we identify as, because they gift us with so much good stuff, including protection. We learn so well how to live up here and why it's important to, in order to stay safe in a lot of ways. But now that we are adult, conscious beings attempting to be in our sovereign, whole, authentic selves, and deeply desiring what I feel most from all the people who reach out to me and work with me, and just humans in general, and what I can feel collectively on the planet from humans in general, is this deep yearning for human connection, because that is what we're here to do. We are here to be in relationship with other people on a deep, intimate level. And so thank you to you guys for showing up to connect in that way today. I hope you could feel that energy was here, that transmission was available. And I just want y'all to know that it's available for you to tap into anytime, with yourself, first of all, and to be the light for others by guiding them, not in the way that I just did it necessarily, even though, hey, have at it. Some people might not be, you have to make create a container where that feels invited properly, but otherwise you might get some people feeling really weird about it. But you are able to tap into this grounded ability, and like a gravitational pull, invite people towards you, invite people into that presence with you, that resonance with you, just by being in it yourself. And so that really does take being willing to be in the body. And that means, yes, you are going to probably meet up with some heavy emotions in there that maybe have been stuck or repressed for a long time. I know for men, this is tougher than ever. And for men, this is tougher than, I would say, women still have this issue. I'm one of them for sure, but I'm saying for men specifically, I know y'all have been told a lot of stories growing up that you're supposed to be strong, quote unquote strong, whatever that's supposed to mean, at all costs, not feel your emotions or express them. And I think you're here because you're realizing that that's just a fucking jackass straight up lie. Yeah, strength actually comes by a repetition of being brave and courageousness actually comes with a willingness to be in pure terror and fear for a time, each time you're meeting things like your inner emotions, your inner demons, as I like to call them, your inner child, some like to say, and all these parts of us that we have repressed and believe are not supposed to exist. We're not supposed to have them, blah, blah, blah. Where did those stories come from? Usually our younger years and our caregivers who are repressing those same things in themselves. So, okay, with all that, I am glad to be of service to any of you who are desirous of it in whatever ways I can afford, which means, any of the links on all my bios have somewhere where you can connect with me in some manner or fashion. If you are really committed, that's the right word, to moving through your stuff, then I have a one-on-one coaching offering, which I think I have 2 spaces available right now. Maybe it's 1 or 2, where I will sit with you in deep session, not always deep session. Sometimes it's dependent on the mood of the day and what's going on with you and all those things. But essentially, where I will spend 12 sessions with you working on getting you from wherever you feel like you are now, whatever obstacles you're attempting to move through along the way, to the desired outcome. And for many people I work with, that looks like things like abundance, whether in money, relationships, love, or otherwise, confidence. And that can come through, of course, any manner of where we can find insecurities and quote unquote shortcomings inside of ourselves. I deal with a lot of sexual dysfunction. Some of you may follow me on my OnlyFans, where I'm now going by the tagline, the Trojan horse of OnlyFans, since obviously if you go over there and you find this type of work, you're like, hold on, am I on OnlyFans? This is largely what I'm offering over there as well. So if you're interested in any of those angles, any of those ways of connecting with me, please go through my bio and check it out. Oh, again, I want to just stress that if you are looking to do a one-on-one coaching with me, let me give you the quick rundown. 12 sessions. Yes, I'm looking for people who are actually committed to what I believe it takes to create the full arc from here to there of where you want to go. And it's fairly strenuous. Strenuous is a strong word maybe, but I have a application process that you will have to go through, and I will be assessing it personally. But it's in order to make sure that you're a match with the work that I am willing to do and excited to do, so that I can make sure I show up as a full body yes to our containers. The 12 sessions are 90 minutes for the first one. We're really going to get to know each other. And then an hour long for the 11 consecutive ones. We would do it every week, essentially. We work with each other's schedules and such, but I try to do it every week at the same time each week, so I like create a slot for you, essentially. Because like we were talking about earlier, Brandon and I were talking about with the subconscious, it really is important to let it know that it's going to show up at this religious time, really, right? Like on the same time each time, so that it comes ready to be excavated and to be danced with and befriended and healed, really. So, yes. Okay. That's enough things. I love y'all. Thank you for playing this evening. Let me know, maybe after this gets posted as well in the comments, if this is something that's you're really interested in seeing more of. I want to know your feedback here. It really feels like I'm honoring myself when I show up for containers like this. And I feel so excited to connect with you guys in this deep way. I really, truly am all about connecting with humans on this level, like making forever allies. All right. Love y'all.